Also, she has crowned Ochun for more than 30 years. Enjoy her interview. Welcome, Michele. Welcome and thank you. Thank you to allow us to come into your house and play also beautiful piece of Yoruba, the Latin jazz. All of you enjoy this interview. Here you have one of the stars of the Latin jazz, one of the women that she plays so good her piano, and also she works for a lot of years with the Afro-Cuban music. With you, Michele Rosewomen. Thank you for watching. Michele, how do you start in this religion?
So I think it was probably when I first started playing percussion. I had played piano since a young age. And in my early teens, in Oakland, California, I walked into a class on Afro-Cuban percussion. And the first things that we learned were 6/8 bembe rhythms and cantos for the orishas. And that was really the beginning because I was touched emotionally and spiritually by the music. I would sit home and play, practice and sing the songs and feel the energy. So I would say that's when it started for me. And then through the years, it took me a long time to get to the point of initiation and being crowned. But all things happen in their right time. And the sequence of events, it's just, there's no beginning and there's definitely no end. And one thing just led to the next. I ended up in New York. I come here in 1978. And in 1980, I meet Puntilla. I had started combining my roots in jazz with lots of ideas that were just brewing as regards the beautiful folkloric music from Cuba that had touched me so deeply, que me cambió. And so at Puntilla, a lot of my first friends here were tamboreros that all of us gravitated to Puntilla's world when he came. And he blessed all of us with so much knowledge, and I formed New Yoruba around Puntilla's voice and his repertoire. It gave me a foundation and a starting point for, not a starting point, but a root from which everything could be built. I had begun to write, take the cantos and put them in contemporary kind of musical context. So with Puntilla, I met a lot of people who, two of whom later turned out to be my padrino and my madrina. And that was Alberto Morgan, my padrino. He passed a year and a half ago or so. And at the time we were working together with Puntilla. And Olufemi Mitchell, who is my godmother, my madrina, I don't know. And now the padrino's gone. Olufemi is my foundation here on this earth, on this planet. And so I would never have known in 1980, 81 that it would turn out later that they would be my godparents. But it all makes perfect sense. And so I received my guerreros and my collares early. And my oroku. I kept doing things to activate that field so that I would be sure to carry it through at the time that was meant for me. So I think that it's been a long progression in terms of how I got in it, so deeply touched and shaped by it. And the deeper I go with it, the deeper the music goes for me. The folklore traditions of Cuba have always touched me, but the growth of my knowledge has taken, my spiritual involvement has deepened my knowledge to do what I do musically on a higher level. And I've been blessed by such great folklorists always, and surrounded always by tamboreros, which kind of makes sense, I guess, and also a lot by babalaos. Being a daughter of Ochun, maybe it all makes sense.
What the tambores bata represent for you in the music?
Foundation. The reason for without it, none of that is. The spiritual practice is all about it. You have to be introduced to the drums to complete your initiation. You have to be the drums are key, and so that says it all. And for me, the rhythms, I've always been very rhythmic in my orientation musically, and I would say that the way I've always heard time is like where the totally sits. That's where I've always kind of really heard time, and the more I've learned the traditions, the more I've seen that, and also the deeper I've gone with it. The bata, I think, play every possible crack of time, every feel that you could imagine. And the fact that they're speaking a language is very profound. I mean, to be so beautiful and to be speaking the Yoruba language, although I know with time that it might be less literally that they're speaking the language, but I know as well that the master folklorists that I've been blessed to be around try to retain all that's so important about those traditions and not lose the language, not lose the old school traditions of playing or practicing the religion and everything else. But anyway, the bata are really the foundation of New Yoruba, and for a lot of years now, since Kutia passed, Ibaye, Roman Diaz has been my partner and very foundational to the New Yoruba ensemble and the growth, my growth, and the growth of the music, and very much centered around bata.
Have you been in Cuba?
Yes, I've been there several times, and my first trip was at the insistence of my longtime friend, my abuli Jean Golden. In fact, the class that I took in Oakland that brought me to all of this was taught by Marcus Gordon. And Marcus Gordon and Jean came up together here in New York and brought the bata out. They brought them into the village vanguard. They brought them out in ways that they really hadn't been. And so when I came here, Marcus kind of sent me to Jean. And through the years, Jean and I have always been close. Jean insisted that I make this trip in 1996 to Cuba with Dia and various other people that were already part of my world, or I hollered at Dia. And so that was my first trip, and over there, that's when I met Roman, I met Pancho Quinto, I met Chan, and one thing leads to the next. But I've been back to Cuba several times, but never enough, and I pray I get there soon again. I went back in 2014 and I studied with Lázaro because for my next musical project.
Great teacher, Lázaro Pedroso. Great teacher.
Friends of mine, including Romantic, suggested that's who I see when I went. The last thing that I did on a really large scale was a recording based on Roman Diaz's execution of the Ori. It's through composed for New Yoruba. It's a 15-minute suite, and in order to really prepare myself to do that, I needed to get into a lot of the intricacies of the OCHAREO. I had been learning pieces here and there, things, I knew rhythms, I knew this, I knew that. But once I have to say, to Chango, thank you for allowing the teachings that I received. And it was really important for me to put my hands on the drums, to learn it in the way that I had to learn it, to be able to bring it to the group and have Roman feel comfortable playing it with the music that was written and the execution of the band members. There's no playing around with that. Like they say, hay que tener cuidado con la percusión.
Yes, yes. But I know that you have your last CD that with Roman Diaz and another percussionist. The bata have a lot of presence in that CD, your new CD. Could you speak about a little bit about a new CD that you have?
Yeah, that's what what I was referring to is that very CD and the music on it, because I think it's 50 minutes of maybe a 65-minute CD is the OCHAREO. So the drums are playing it as if in ceremony from beginning to end.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so we come in and out. What we do is decorate them. I think on my first recording, they decorated the rest of the band a lot. But I'm very super proud of that CD as well. That's with Pedrito Martinez, Roman Diaz, and Abraham Rodriguez. Daniel Carbonell, all of who play bata on there, but Roman and Pedrito were foundational. That's the first one. But on the second one, what my thoughts were that we need to get out of the way of the conversation when it would get intricate. We need to sit back and leave the space for the bata to speak. I would find sections where improvisation and solos would make sense because there's less conversation, but there's high energy and for me the bata are the original funk. I mean they're funkier than anything I've ever heard, as well as the hard swing of the bata. You can't go wrong playing on top of these fields, and it is a place to be like no other. I mean, it's like a wave to ride. For any soloist to play on top of that is to receive a blessing, to be blessed. And
yes.
So we come in and out, and the bata do what they would do. And I think that ultimately it took a lot, because me and the tamboreros were the only ones that knew where the one was for the longest, until little by little the horn section, everybody else started to understand the llamadas and things that can be like an illusion, to where you think you know where the time is, but you don't. So anyway, yeah, bata foundational to this recording is called hallowed, meaning sacred.
Okay, we know that you have been working in the Latin jazz for a while. The 2016, you participate in the CD that received a Latin Grammy. That's something that is an honor. Could you speak something about that? Because I know that you write down the music, you have to work so hard. How do you feel when you knew that song received a Grammy?
So, yeah, the recording that it was a part of received the Grammy, and I wrote it, Alabanza, and that was written and commissioned by Arturo Fares, and we recorded it in Cuba. So it was wonderful to be a part of a project that received the Grammy, and for me to be a part of that as a composer and pianist. And then the next stage was that I took that piece of music and recorded it on this very CD of mine that we've been talking about. And so I was able to to record it with all the nuances that I would bring to my ensemble's execution of it. And so these were stages. First of all, receiving acknowledgement for it as a part of someone else's project, and then taking it into my own realm and developing it further and executing it in the way that only New York can do. I bet you more. Apagaliente. Ekimane ekimane. Ibu wanyale.
Michele, how do you feel when you count your Ocha and you see yourself under the throne?
Well, I would say that I knew that it was inevitable pretty much for a long time. I did not know when or how, and that when I see myself here, I realize what a blessing it's been in my life, and nothing I could have known until I stepped in, and it reveals itself all the time, the relevance to the progression of my life, to the reinforcing of the things that I've always known about myself from the beginning, because even when in Cuba, when they abajaron Orula for me, and I always knew who my crown would be. I mean, I felt who it would be. And right before they declared it, they asked me, who do you think? And that was after a day of work. The Babalaos were working, and then they came up. They knew. And they asked me, who did I think? And when I told them, they said, you're right. And I knew because I always felt most at home in the forest. That's a river. I always just related to the energies of nature throughout my life. I felt close to these energies. And the spiritual practice attracted me because I could feel its power. So to be in it is to feel it on a deeper level, in a daily way. I give my greatest tribute to the practice through the music, because that's what brought me into it. I felt the force of the music. I felt its effect on me, and it felt like I had to do certain things. And as I did them, it brought me deeper and deeper and closer to the spiritual practice. And once stepping in, I would say that my whole relationship to the music and my ability to give my offerings and my thanks through the music reached a deeper level. And I just feel blessed in a daily way. Faith is something that we learn, even though we think we have it. We have to learn more about it all the time. So I would say that this practice teaches me all the time about faith, and I feel very grateful for what it's brought to my life. It feels beautiful. In one word. After all that, it feels beautiful.
How do you feel at that time? Because when you can, you also do it like Iyawo, but in your case, also you are a musician. So being a musician and Iyawo at the same time, that you have to work, late at night, sometimes you have to eat the table. How do you feel at that moment?
As a Iyawo?
Yes.
Hoping I was doing things right, knowing by the dreams I was having and the things I was receiving quietly, privately, spiritually, I could feel the power of the Yaguarahi, the power of what I had done. I took the step.
Yeah.
I felt peace, you know. I
Great.
felt peace. And I had to travel as a Yawo. I had to go see my mother who was not well and things like that. And I remember thinking in the air, if something happened to me right now, I can go and I could be fine because I did this. You know, it was a really strong feeling. It was like, I'm not ready to go. But if that's what happened, thank God, thank you, Olumare, gracias, that I did this. I just felt a relief. I've been around it so long, so much. Through all of my musical world, I was around it so much, and I was grabbing a little this and a little that, understanding a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But there's no understanding it truly until you're in it, and every day it reveals itself more. So in my Yaguarahi, I came to really understand why I took that step and why it was inevitable that I would.
Nice. How do you feel when you knew that your fire in Ocha was Elegua?
Oh, it was the same thing. I felt it's the same thing everybody expressed. It was like surprise, but at the same time, but of course. In fact, everybody wondered why we didn't think that that would be it, especially me. I had received my guerreros and my collares and everything a long time ago. I traveled with my Elegua. He went everywhere with me. I put him in Europe in the hotels at the door. And when they came in to clean the room, they must have wondered, oh my God, because I didn't hide Elegua. I had him out, you know. I kept him with me. I had him with me always. I felt so close. I felt the connection for so many years, and yet when we were asking and looking to see who would, after knowing I was crowned Ochun, would be crowned Ochun, and looking to see what my father would be, people said that Django was likely, and this and that, and they kept tossing and asking, and then when it came a leg, where everybody was like, oh, and me too, and then I thought, but of course.
And what's the path of you, Ochun?
Ibuyumu.
Oh, Ibuyumu. Wow. Because I thought that was Ibuanya because you are a musician and also your fire is Elegua. So, but Ochun in general, she likes music. We know that Ochun, we play violin for Ochun and you play piano. So, it's related. Yes, she likes that music. And she is the Orisha that always support musicians. Could you speak with us a little bit about You Got Fired? Because we know that Alberto Morgan, he was the dancer of the Conjunto Folclórico Nacional of Cuba, and also an actor, a great actor. I have the possibility to meet him in the theater in Union City. Could you speak something? What do you learn from You Got Fired and also Yubona, because she's an artist too? So you are an artist, a musician, and you were born in Ochun from two artists. How do you feel? What is the feeling that you had from that?
Almost crying, truly feel emotional about it because Padrino is one of the most beautiful spirits I've ever met in my life, and we met through the music. I'll never forget. We were both performing with Puntilla. He would have me sing in the coro and play. For example, I would play for the canto for Agayu on piano. or my arrangement of something for Obatala, which was the first time that I really brought the concerts together with the contemporary jazz kind of feel. So I was playing that on the stage during sound check, and Alberto Morgan was suddenly kneeling next to me at the piano, kind of leaning on the piano, singing harmony to Eluaye mi Moseo. And Padrino was singing harmony at the time. He was Alberto Morgan, he was there, he choreographed all of Martina's shows and was there as a dancer, and I don't think he was singing in that show, but that's how we met. Immediate connection. So through the years, we kept, encountering each other, working together. And at one point, I took him to Europe with New York, singing and dancing. And our relationship developed, and this was long before I had Ocha made. And every time I looked around, when I needed something spiritual, I was turning to Padrino. I had been in another house that was not comfortable. I had left the house and knew that I would end up in another. And at the point where I received my local from Alberto Morgan, right after that I said, okay, I think I know where my house is. And it was a long time after that I made Ocha. And I remember every time I would bring it up to Padrino, he would say, vamos a ver. I would say, I want to do this soon. Padrino would say, vamos a ver. And then one day I said, no vamos a ver, vamos a hacer. And he looked at me, and he understood that maybe I was ready. But our connection through the music and the art, and him as a dancer, and also as a singer, and then as an actor. And if anyone has been in his home, they know that every inch of him, every inch of his home, his art was art. He did pañuelos. He made beautiful pañuelos for the orishas. He did stained glass. He drew. He sketched. It was just his entire being was art, and his history, the things he's done artistically, as a dancer, as a singer, as an actor. It's just it's a story of greatness. And then during that time as well, I spent a lot of time with Olufemi, who was like Puntia's right or left hand. They sang together like one. Their voices were beautiful together. The only other person that I know that blended like that and was so perfect was with Puntia was Abraham Rodriguez, Puntia's ahijado. But both Alberto and Olu came into my world through Puntia, and it's just organic. That's part of what I say was so inevitable. The progression. I think my whole life, one thing would lead to the next in the most natural of ways. And for me to land with Alberto Morgan as my padrino, and the beautiful Olufemi Mitchell as my godmother, I mean, it's just perfect.
Onyinigwe, do you have any experience through all these years that you have crowned Ochun that you would like to share with the community? Experience that you have, something that you pass that you feel support by Ochun, Elegua, or another orisha?
Oh yeah, I would say that at a couple of difficult moments in my life, that the difference that the faith and the prayer made, the receiving of San Lazaro at a crucial time, and the peace and tranquility that Obatala has brought at a certain time. Beyond the everyday blessings and awareness, constant blessings that I seem to receive from Ochun and Legua and every Orisha that blesses my world directly, indirectly, as I receive and deepen my practice. But I just would say that I've had my proof. I've experienced things that show me the power of faith and the beauty of our spiritual practice. And I feel, I would say in some ways I'm very universal in my spirituality. I relate to all cultures that give thanks to God for whatever. And this, throughout the world, but this is my path. This is the path that chose me and the one that I chose. So I just would like to say that it's made a beautiful difference in my life.
That is good to share with the community. And any adimu in particular that you offer, Ochun or another Orisha?
One that my Marina told me about that I really love because it's simple and it's beautiful, and that's just the 5 naranjas with the little hole and the honey and the cinnamon stick.
Oh.
I love it. It's beautiful and it's simple.
Yes.
Amongst others, but that's the one that comes to mind right now.
Michele, could you tell us something about the history of the New Yoruba that grew a musician that you have been working with them?
So yeah, in 1983, I got a grant from NEA for the birth of New Yoruba featuring Ntia. And I had built a repertoire around his voice, the keys that he sung in, and kind of a lot of the beautiful arara stuff that he brought. We knew Yoruba song, cantos, but the arara stuff really came with him here to be well known, to be better known. So that was the birth of the ensemble in 1983, and my goal was to make Otia comfortable. So all that could do is create beautiful music. If I could make him comfortable, then whatever it would be, it was going to work in every way. So that's how we started, and Otia was with us for 25 years.
Long time.
A long time. No. What was so beautiful is that he really valued it. He loved it, and I was so honored all the time that he felt that way. And it was up to him who played with him. He brought in Eddie Rodriguez, Gene Golden, Abraham Rodriguez, eventually Perito Martinez, Roman Diaz. He brought everything to me. So after Puntia passed, Roman and Pedrito were really foundational. And then eventually just Roman and whoever he would bring on board. Gato, Ernesto Gatel was with us. Who else? Eddie Bobe, going back. Eddie Bobe, these were percussionists from here that really gravitated to Puntia for all the knowledge that he shared. So the greatest drummers here, Brinquito, Skip, they were a part of the ensemble at various times, and we started in 1983, like I say, so we have a long history. And we did our debut recording in 2013, 30-year anniversary. So it took us 30 years, and
congratulations.
Somehow it happened at the right time. So then the second recording that came out in 2019. We have 2. The first one is a double disc. We had a lot of music across the 30 years. So yeah, the history. So anyway, I've had the blessing of having these master folklorists around me my whole life. I just that's how I know that it's all as it should be. They blessed me with knowledge, with foundation for everything that we've done, and I think that's what makes the music special, is that we have our roots in the traditions as they should be, and I make a point to maintain them, keep them intact, and make sure that everything that happens works on a internal level, and shows the respect for the traditions at all times.
Yes, when you respect the tradition and you feel it in the bottom of your heart, everything works. Sooner or later, everything works. And
Music,
congratulations for
life,
the new
everything.
band that you are the band leader, the new Yoruba, because that is a beautiful work.
I thank you so much. It means a lot to me that it means something to people like you, who are just, at the cellular level. This is you. This is your life. You would know if it's wrong. It would rub you wrong. It'd be like, oh no. So, when I see that it brings peace and satisfaction to people with knowledge, with the deepest knowledge, I know that I'm on the right track, and I just ask Olumare and all the Orishas to keep me growing and developing and offering something of value along these lines.
Nice. Again, congratulations, because really you are doing a great job, and also you are working with the roots, because you have been in Cuba studying with Lázaro Peroso, Puntilla, here Román Díaz, Pedrito Martínez, El Gato, so Abraham also, Ekits, so many percussionists that they love the music, because I have the opportunity to share time with all of them and play with them, and everything will be good for you and your project, because you feel that in the bottom of your heart. So again, congratulations for the job that you are doing for the Afro-Cuban music and also for the Latin jazz.
Thank you. This is my way of giving my thanks and my offering on a daily basis. It's what I can best offer, and so I'm really happy for the guidance and for my roots in the spiritual practice, which give me a foundation to build upon that means more.
Have you any advice for the new generation, musician, religious, younger people that they start now? Do you have any advice for them?
In the religion?
Yes, the religion or the music.
Well, I guess in general, like to be sure that what you're doing is natural to you. You have to have passion for what you do. It can't be an intellectual decision. I want to, do something with the bata. Okay, that's all good, but you have to, okay, hay que tener cuidado. So it's not about flirting with these deep traditions. I think that a lot of people do that. I would advise that if there's something calling you about it, that before you run out here and do something with it, that you deepen your knowledge and see what it is that you can do that is not just using something that's so profound that it should never just be thrown in the mix in a thoughtless way. And whatever you think you know, whatever I think I know, it's this much. I have not scratched the surface, and I'm not just saying that. I could live 10 lifetimes and not learn but this much of what there is there. So just know it's very deep, it's very profound, and that it can take you to some beautiful places. If it's calling you, you know, listen and see where it goes, but remember, hay que tener cuidado.
That's it. This video with Michele Rosewomen. Leave your comment below. Subscribe to the channel to receive notification about new videos. Health, faith, and prosperity. Ya tú sabes. OCHAREO.